Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth, Center for Online Learning. I am your faculty for this course, Professor Anand. The course is Performing Analytics with Python. Learners, in this session we are going to learn about the unit number 2, that is Python Advanced Concepts. So, before we proceed in this session, let us see what is the agenda for this session. In this session, we are going to learn about the images like classes, tilde images and acceleration. What is spacemanship class? Fundamentals of data manipulation with Python, how to perform manipulation by using Python. RDBMS, that is Relational Data Management System, how it works. UML, that is Unified Model Language, and we end this session with this summary. So, let us start with the introductory part of this session, that is, in the light of or in the context of game development, images are essential when you are thinking about the game development. Images are excellent way to represent different visual aspects in a game, such as characters, objects, backdrops, user interface elements are just a few examples of these elements. So, when we represent the images, it can be represented in terms of characters, objects, backdrops and user interface. So, all these are the elements of images, and to make the compelling and aesthetically pleasing games, we need to use the effective pictures. Effective picture handling is necessary, and some important elements of picture management in game development are listed below, such as visual assets, graphics libraries. When you talk about the visual assets, game developers use the images, also known as the visual assets or sprites, to depict everything within the game world, from the characters to enemies to items and scenery. So, visual assets are very important in the game development. We use the images, which are also known as the visual effect or visual assets or sprites, to depict everything within the game world. The second element is graphics libraries. Game development or game developers often use or it often involves the use of graphic libraries or frameworks that provide the tools and functions for loading the pictures, for rendering and manipulating the images. Popular libraries which are used for game development includes SDL, Pygame and Unity. Unity is 2D game engine. So, these are some of the libraries which are used in Python when I am developing a game. The third element is resolution and quality. Game graphics need to be tailored to the targeted platform and screen resolution to ensure the look crisp and appealing. Developers often create multiple versions of images to support different screen sizes and resolutions. So, in terms of creating the games, or when you are creating the games, the resolution and quality of the images are very important. So, that is why the developers often creates multiple images or multiple versions of the images to see or to support different screen sizes and resolutions. Now, let us understand the classes. The term classes commonly refers to a method of structuring the code into a reusable design or blueprints for objects in the programming. and image processing. Classes can be used to represent many types of image related objects or actions in image processing. You may have classes for photos, for filters or image processing techniques. For instance, classes make code more logical and maintainable by helping to encapsulate data and operations or method together. So, when we talk about the classes, classes commonly refers to a method of structuring your data and that can be reusable. What are the elements of a class? The elements of a class includes its objects, includes its methods which works on that particular objects. So, classes will make your code more logical and will help to maintain it, so that we can use it whenever we require. And one of the important element of class is its reusability. So, class is a blueprint, class is a design template. In that we have code, we have objects, we have methods, we encapsulate the object and the method which works on that object together by creating the instance of a class. So, these are the some advantages of using a class. So, when you define a class or when you use a class, the benefit is that it will give you code reusability and it will make your code more logical, which will help in maintaining your total system. What is tiled images? Tiled images are made of smaller regular sized image that are arranged in a grid to create a larger image. So, when smaller images of a regular size, they are arranged in a grid, it is called as a tiled images, and this approach is often used in computer graphics especially and game development environment to efficiently render large or seamless textures. Each tile can be thought of as a small image, each tile can be thought of as a smaller image, and when combined they form a larger image or more complex image. So, when I say a tiled image is nothing which is made up of regular sized images, small images which are arranged in a grid, which will ultimately create a tiled image. And using the tiled image in a computer graphics and game development to efficiently render the large or seamless textures. So, that is the objective of using the tiled images. To render the large and complex textures, we need to use the tiled images. Now, let us understand the acceleration. The acceleration refers to the rate of change of velocity of an object, at what speed that object is travelling, that is the velocity of an object with respect to time. So, at what speed the object is running with respect to the time is called as acceleration. It is a vector quantity basically, meaning it has both magnitude and direction. So, basically it is vector quantity basically which contains magnitude and direction. In physics, acceleration occurs when an object speeds up, slows down or changes the direction. So, acceleration has two aspects, that is two elements, one is magnitude and second one is direction. And in the reference of the images, acceleration might not directly apply. So, when you talk about the images, when you talk about the graphics, the term acceleration may not directly apply, but it could be used symbolically to describe the speed or efficiency of image processing algorithm. So, in case of images, in case of graphics, the term acceleration, the concept acceleration may not be directly applied, but it could be used symbolically to describe the speed or the efficiency of the image processing algorithm. For faster image processing algorithms are often referred to as accelerated because they can perform the task like filtering, resizing or recognition more quickly. So, for faster image processing algorithms, they are often referred as accelerated because they can perform many tasks. It can be filtering, it can be resizing, it can be recognition more quickly, it can recognize the images more quickly. So, these are the purposes for which we need the concept of acceleration, as acceleration may not be applied directly to every image or to every graphic, but it could be used symbolically to represent to describe the speed of image processing algorithms. The next concept is spaceship class. What is this spaceship class? Let us understand it. Creating a spaceship class in Python is a great way to model and simulate the behavior of a spaceship in a game or a simulation. Depending on your requirements, you can expand the class by adding more attributes and methods to model more complex behaviors such as rotation, fire weapons or handling the collisions. So, basically spaceship class is used in Python to model and simulate the behavior of a spaceship in a game development environment. And the spaceship class serves as a blueprint, as a template, as a framework for creating the spaceship objects, making it easier to manage and manipulate their properties and behavior within your Python programs or games. So, this is the purpose of having or creating the spaceship class, to model and to simulate the behavior of spaceship in a game environment. Now, let us understand what are the fundamentals of data manipulation in Python. If I have to manipulate the data, if I have to process the data using Python, what are the fundamental things that I should know? Data manipulation with Python involves techniques, for it may be for processing, for cleaning the data, for transforming the data and analyzing the data to derive the insights and to make informed decisions. So, it provides many libraries such as NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib that are commonly used for these tasks. So, when I say data manipulation, it involves many techniques, starting with cleaning the data, transforming the data into another format, preparing the data for data analysis and lastly deriving the insights from the provided data sets. And to perform all these tasks, Python provides many libraries, inbuilt libraries such as NumPy, such as Pandas, Matplotlib, etc. These are very few libraries that I have named here, but Python contains n number of libraries. It has libraries for every domain. It has libraries to perform the task for any domain. It has libraries for scientific applications. It has libraries for financial applications. It has libraries for banking application, for insurance, for healthcare. So, there are libraries for every domain available in Python. Let us start with the data structures in Python. What are the main data types available in Python? Mainly there are 4 types of data structures available in Python, starting with list, dictionaries, tuples and sets. So, before diving into the data manipulation techniques, one has to understand what are the common data types or common data structures available in Python, so that we can use it for data storage and manipulation. The first one is list. List is an ordered collection of elements, ordered collection of elements where the items in the list are linearly arranged, and the list allows for duplicates and modification. This is very important. Once you create a list, you can modify it later on, or even you can have duplicate items in a list. List is a ordered collection of data items. List is a mutable data structure. Mutable means I can change, I can modify the items later on. The next data structure is dictionaries. When I say dictionaries, the items in the dictionary are stored in terms of key and value pairs for storing and retrieving the data quickly. So, if you want to store the data in terms of key and value pairs, then we can use dictionaries. The next data structure is tuples. Tuples are like list. Tuples are ordered collection of data items, but the difference between a list and tuple is that tuples are immutable. Means what? Once the items are stored in tuples, we cannot change. On the contrary, the items that we store in list can be changed. So, list and tuples are same, except list is mutable, whereas tuples are immutable. And again one more thing, tuples will not allow you to store duplicate values or duplicate items, whereas list will allow you to store duplicate values. And the last one is a set. Set is also an unordered collection of data items. Unlike list, list is an ordered collection of data items. Set is an unordered collection of data items. So, now let us try to understand the libraries which are available in Python. Commonly, the one library which is used, that is called as NumPy. NumPy stands for numerical Python. So, NumPy for numerical data. I can perform numerical operations by using the functions which are present in NumPy library. So, NumPy is a fundamental, most common library for performing numerical operations in Python. It provides a multi-dimensional array objects called numpy.nd array. So, basically if you want to work with multi-dimensional arrays, we need to import the numpy in our program, so that we can create the multi-dimensional array and we can perform operations on that multi-dimensional array. and the NumPy provides an array object, that is multi-dimensional array object called as numpy.ndArray. So, by using the instance of this object, we can call the functions which can operate on multi-dimensional arrays, which allows efficient computation with large data sets. For example, import NumPy as NP. NP is the instance of NumPy. So, here we have imported the library NumPy as NP. Now, I can refer all the functions of NumPy with the use of by referring NP dot function name. So, to create a NumPy array, we have to give a array name, in this case as data is equal to NP dot array. Array is the function, array is the function name of NumPy array. So, here I am calling, as you can see in the code, NP is the object, dot is the operator which links the object with the function, so that I can call the function of NumPy library. So, NP dot array in a rounded bracket, in a square bracket I am specifying the list of items, separating each with a comma and ended with its appropriate square bracket and rounded bracket. So, this will create a one dimensional array. So, now to perform the operations on the array, I can call many functions which are present in NumPy array, such as mean, such as standard deviation. So, how to call that? So, for example, if I have to calculate mean, how to calculate the mean of the data which I have created in the previous step, that is on data array. So, mean is equal to, that is the variable name is mean, is equal to NP dot mean, and here I have to supply the argument, that is the name of my array, that is here in this case is data. What it contains? It contains an array with having value as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So, when I execute this statement, or when the compiler will execute this statement, I will have the mean of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and it is been stored into the mean variable. In the same way, if you want to calculate the standard deviation, then how I can call that? Just call that function with NP. Say for example, std underscore dv is equal to NP dot std. Std is the name of the function which will calculate the standard deviation. So, NP dot std, in the bracket I have to provide the argument of the array, that is data. So, after that, if I want to display, I can use the print function like print mean and print standard deviation. So, this is a simple example of how to create an array and how to perform some simple operations like finding out the mean and standard deviation on the array which we have created in this example. Next is pandas, that is most powerful library used in Python. So, after NumPy, pandas are the most powerful libraries used in Python, and pandas are built on top of the NumPy. So, it means that when you import the pandas library, ultimately indirectly you have imported the NumPy. So, it means that when you import pandas library in your program, we do not need to import NumPy separately or again. And pandas is a powerful library for data manipulation and analysis, which provides two main data structures, that is series and data frames. Series are in one dimensional, means what? It contains only a single row, but whereas your data frame is always two dimensional, means what, more than one row and more than one column. 2Ds are designed for handling data structures more efficiently. So, we can handle the data more efficiently when it has been structured, when it has been presented in the form of a table. So, for example, how to create the data frames? Let us see with the example. So, first we need to import pandas as PD. After that, here I am creating a data frame. For example, data is equal to, in the curly bracket, name. I am giving name as Alice, Bob and Charlie. After that, I am defining the age as 25, 30 and 35. So, these are actually, here I have created a dictionary. As you can see in the example, there is a key and value pair. What is key here? The key is name. Name as Alice, name as Bob, name as Charlie. That is, name is a key and Alice, Bob and Charlie are their values respectively. In the same way, I have inserted one more key and value pair. Here the key is age and the values are 25, 30 and 35. So, this is my dictionary data structure example. So, here I have created a dictionary. After that, from this dictionary I want to create a data frame, means what, I want to transfer or transform that dictionary into a two dimensional array, into a table of rows and columns. So, how to create that? To convert the dictionary into a data frame, we need to call the data frame method of the pandas library, like pd dot data frame. In the bracket we need to provide the argument that represents, here in this case is the dictionary, that is the data. So, data here represents a dictionary. So, here after executing this statement by the compiler, a data frame will be created and that will be stored into df variable. So, when you call, after calling this function, that is data frame on PD, by providing the argument as data, your dictionary will be converted into a data frame of having multiple rows and multiple columns. So, this is one way of creating a data frame from a dictionary. Now, how to perform the operations on the data frame? So, once you create the data frame, now we can perform the functions. So, for example, if you want to find out the mean age, you can call the dot mean function, or you can call the mean function. So, if you want to find out the name of the person, that you can also find out. So, here is the example or some of the operations that we can perform on data frame, like if I have to find out the average age or the mean age of the persons, I can call the mean function on my data frame, like mean underscore age is equal to df, in the square bracket, in a single inverted comma, I have to give the key. What is the key here? The key is age dot mean function. So, from all the ages, it will find out the average age, and that average age will be stored in mean underscore age variable. Again, if I have to find out the youngest person's age, I can call upon the function that is idx mean on my data frame. For example, youngest underscore person is equal to df, in the square bracket I have to pass the key as name. I want to find out the name of the youngest person. I have to give the name as the argument. Again, from age I need to find out the IDX mean function. So, here I have to use the IDX mean function on the data frame DF from the key age. So, from the key age I am finding the minimum age of the data frame, and again I am also finding the name of the person whose age is less. So, when you execute this code, you will find the mean age is 30, as you can see here, average age is 30, and who is the youngest? The youngest is Alice. Alice age is 25. So, Alice is the youngest one. So, these are some of the operations that I can perform on data frame. Now, let us understand how to clean the data. Cleaning the data, transforming the data, making the data prepared for data analysis, all these comes under data manipulation or data processing, which we are doing it for the data analysis. So, in order to analyze the data, we need to first clean the data, we need to fill up the gap values, the missing values. Then after that we need to perform the data analysis methods on the data sets, then only we can derive the insights from the data set. So, cleaning of the data is again one of the important tasks of data analysis, which involves tasks like handling the missing values, removing the duplicates, converting the data types to ensure data accuracy, integrity and consistency. So, when I am cleaning the data, cleaning means what? What kind of activities that we can perform when I am cleaning the data? It can be removing the duplicate values, it can be finding the missing values, handling the missing values, giving the treatment to the missing values, converting the data types to ensure data accuracy and integrity and consistency. So, all these activities refers to data cleaning. Let us see with the example. First, I am importing the pandas as PD. After that, I am creating the data frame with missing values. So, here first I am creating the list, we can say data is equal to. So, I am creating a dictionary, that is data is equal to name, the same dictionary that we have created in the previous example. So, here basically I am creating a dictionary with the name as a data, with key as name, with value as Alice, Bob and none. So, none is a missing value. Then I am creating another key value pair with key as age and values are 25, none and 35. So, here Alice is having 25 as age, Bob is having as say null value and none is having a age as 35. So, here basically I am creating a dictionary with a missing values. So, now I am creating a data frame. How to create a data frame? That is, we have to call the data frame function on the instance of dictionary. So, df is equal to pd dot data frame in the bracket, provide the argument of your dictionary, that is data. So, this will create a data frame with missing values. Now, how to remove the rows with missing values? So, for that we have to call the function called as drop NA. So, this function will remove the rows which is having missing values. So, if I say here df dot drop NA, so this will remove the duplicate values. After that I am storing the data frame into df underscore cleaned variable. Now I am printing the values of cleaned data frame with the help of a printf statement, that is print in the bracket, rounded bracket, df underscore cleaned will print the data in terms of rows and columns, where you can see that the rows or the key which do not have value is simply been removed. Now let us understand the next concept in this data manipulation, that is data transformation, which is also very important. So when I am transferring the data, what it means? It includes many activities like reshaping the data, encoding the categorical values and scaling the features for machine learning. So transforming means what? Transforming means reshaping your data, encoding the categorical values or scaling the features for your machine learning algorithms. So for example, import pandas as PD. From sklearn dot preprocessing, import standard scalar comma label encoder. So here we are importing the standard scalar and label encoder from sklearn dot processing library, which are required for data transformation or which contains the methods for reshaping the data, encoding the categorical variables and scaling the features for our machine learning algorithms. So let us create a data frame with categorical values. So again here I am creating a dictionary with the help of data is equal to, in the curly bracket, key is my category, after that colon, then follows its values. So category is A, B, C, A, B, A, C, B. So these are my categorical data which I have created with the help of a dictionary. Then I am creating one more key and value pair with the help of value as key and key as value, and its values are 10, 15, 20, 25 and 30. So here in this dictionary I am having two pairs of data, one is category, second is value. So category is a key and A, B, A, C, B are its values. So when I say category, category can be A, B, C, B. One more pair, that is value is my key and 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 are its values. So there are two pairs of key and value. So now after creating the dictionary, now I am creating a data frame from this dictionary, that is df is equal to pd dot data frame, providing the argument of dictionary as a data. So this statement will create a data frame from the dictionary and which will be stored into the variable, that is df. Now let us see how I can encode the categorical variables by using the functions of sklearn or standard scalar. So for example, label underscore encoder is equal to label encoder is a function dot df category is equal to label underscore dot ft underscore transform df into category. So in the first line you can see that here I am creating the instance of label encoder, that is label underscore encoder is equal to label encoder function. So here I am creating the instance of label encoder in the first line. In the second line, df category is equal to label encoder dot fit transform, that is df category. So, here I am transforming the category and I am encoding that category into df category. Second way, to standardize the numerical values. How to standardize the numerical values? For example, scalar is equal to standard scalar. Again here I am creating the instance of standard scalar by calling the function standard scalar. So, now using the instance of the standard scalar, I can standardize the numerical values. Standardizing the numerical values are very important, so that you can able to analyze the data correctly. So, how to standardize? So, here I am using the instance of standard scalar with the name of scalar. So, scalar dot fit underscore transform in the bracket df value. So, here I am providing the second pair's key value, that is value. So, now the numbers which I have given as values for the key value, that is 10, 15, 20, 25 and 30. So, these numbers are been standardized once this statement is executed. So, with the help of print function, I am printing the data which the data which I have standardized and the categories that I have encoded. Next, data analysis and visualization. So, again data analysis and visualization is again very important. So, once your data is been ready, once it is been cleaned, when it is been transformed, once you have performed reshaping, filtering, once you have encoded the data, once you have standardized the values, once you have found the missing values, once you have given treatment to the missing values, duplicate values, you have removed the values. So, now we have in the third stage, that is data analysis and visualization. So, first is a cleaning of the data, second step is transforming, then we can now perform data analysis and we can visualize the data and then we can draw the insights from the data set. So, once the data set is prepared, we can perform the data analysis and we can visualize the data, so that we can gain insights, draw insights from the data sets. So, for that this is the following code: import pandas as PD, import matplotlib dot pyplot as PLT. So, here we are importing one more library, that is PLT from matplotlib dot pylot, so that we can plot the data visually. So, the first thing is that create a data frame with sales data. So, here again first I am creating a dictionary, that is data is equal to, in the curly bracket, month is my key, January, February, March, April, May are its values. Again the second key and pair value, that is sales is my key and 1000, 1200, 1300, 1100 and 1500 are its values. So, here I am having month and sales in a dictionary. So, now from this dictionary I am creating a data frame with the help of the statement, that is df is equal to pd dot data frame, providing the instance of the dictionary, that is data. So, now we have a data frame from the data. Now, I am plotting the sales data with the help of PLT. PLT is the object of pyplot. So, by using the functions of pyplot, I am plotting the data on the canvas. So, PLT dot plot in the bracket df month comma df again in the square bracket in a single comma sales. So, here I am providing month and sales as x and y attributes marker is equal to 0. So, now here I am plotting the values, that is PLT dot title is monthly sales, PLT dot X label. So, on X I am giving label as month, and for Y, that is PLT Y label, I am giving the label as sales. So, on my X I am having month, and on my Y axis I am having sales. So, when I execute this statement like PLT dot show, what I will get? I will get this kind of visualization. You can see X, you can see the month on X label, and on Y label you can see its sales. So, this is how I can visualize the data with the help of the pie plot and with its functions. Matplotlib pilot library. Now, let us come down to RDBMS, that we all know as Relational Database Management System. The data in Relational Database Management System is stored in terms of matrix, in terms of tables. So, a data in RDBMS is always structured. So, a Relational Database Management System, that is RDBMS, is a type of database management system where it organizes data into tables, into relations, and these tables consist of rows and columns, and the relationship between different tables are defined through keys. So, when I say a database management system, or when I say especially RDBMS, RDBMS is a relational database management system where data is stored in terms of tables. A table contains rows and columns, and in RDBMS it also contains the relationship between the tables, and we can define the relationships are defined with the help of keys, that is foreign key and primary key. So, in Python we can interact with database, we can interact with RDBMS systems using various libraries and modules such as SQLite and SQL Alchemy being the popular choices. These are the RDBMS which we can use with Python. So, let us see, or let us explore the RDBMS concept in Python with the use of, or with using SQLite. So, first thing is that we need to import SQLite 3, we need to connect the SQLite database, creates one if it does not exist. So, how to create a connection? Connection is equal to SQLite 3 dot connect method. In that you can specify the database name. So, in this case is example.db. So, when this statement will get executed, the database called as example.db will be created with the help of connect method of SQLite 3. So, now to how to create a cursor object to execute SQL commands. So, if you want to execute the SQL command, we need to create the object of a cursor. So, here cursor is equal to connection dot cursor method. So, this will create a cursor object so that you can later on execute SQL commands. You can query your SQL database with the help of the cursor object. To create the cursor object, the syntax, the command is connection dot cursor. We need to call the cursor function of connection. So, cursor is equal to connection dot cursor method will create an instance of cursor. Now, how to create a table? To create a table, we need to call the execute method of the cursor. So, cursor dot execute, in the bracket write the SQL query like, in the double quotes, create table if not exist, with the name, that is employees, with its attributes and data type. Attributes are ID, that is integer, data type is integer. Second attribute, that is name, its data type is text. Next attribute is age, again its data type is integer. So, when this statement is executed, you will have a table with the name of employees and attributes like ID, name and age. So, here you can see I have created primary key for ID. So, ID will be act as a primary key for this employee table. How to insert the rows into a table that we have created. So, to insert a data into the table, we need to call again the execute function on cursor. So, cursor dot execute, in the rounded bracket in double quote write the SQL query such as insert into table name, that is employees. In what attributes that you want to insert the data? I want to insert the data for name and age only. So, I can write as name comma age, values as question mark comma Alice and comma 30. So, here it will insert the name as Alice and age as 30 for the first record. Sorry. Next, I can insert again one more rows, cursor dot execute, insert into employees, attributes name and age, values as Bob and 25. So, after inserting the record, if you want to make these changes permanent, you need to call the commit method on the connection object, otherwise the changes that you have done will not be permanent. So, here I have to call the commit method on the connection object. So, connection dot commit will make all the changes permanent into my database. If you want to extract the data from your database, then we need to call the execute method on the cursor, like cursor dot execute in a single in a rounded bracket double quotes select star from table name such as select star from employees will give you all the rows from employees. Again rows is equal to cursor dot fetch all. If you want to fetch all the records, then I can print loop wise. For example, for row in rows print row. So, here you will get the display row wise one after the another. Now, let us talk about the UML, that is Unified Modeling Language. Basically, it is a visual tool, visual modeling language tool, which is used in basically in software development or software engineering rather, for designing the system, for specifying specifying the elements of your system and for documentation, system documentation. So, for all these things UML, that is visual unified model language, is a tool which is used in software engineering basically for designing purpose, for designing your software, for specifying the elements of your software and documenting your software system. These are the objectives of UML, which provides a standard way to visualize and communicate the structure, the behavior and the interactions of your software system. What is the main purpose? The main purpose can be to communicate to your audience, to your management, this in a standardized way, that how your system has been built, how each component will communicate with other component, how your system behaves, how it interacts. So, all these things can be visually presented with the help of UML, that is Unified Modeling Language. This is a tool basically which is used to visually represent your system to your audience or to the management, to explain them about your system, how your system is structured, how it is designed, how it behaves and how it interacts with other parts of your system. So, basically it is used for visualizing your system, explaining your system to your targeted audience. UML diagrams are graphical representation of various aspects of a system which will help the developers better understand and design the complex system. In Python programming, we can use the UML to plan and document your system or your software project. There are different types of UML which can be used, like say class diagram, sequence diagram, activity diagram and use case diagram. So, in a summary, images we have understood in this session. Images, what are tilde images, how to create them, what is their main purpose. Say for example, spaceship class is the component of a game development project. It suggests the creation of a class to define the behavior and attributes of a spacemanship within the game development environment. Sprite class is an essential element in a game development, responsible for managing and rendering images and characteristic and characters. Then we have learned about data processing and manipulation techniques using Python, which involves the tasks such as processing the data, cleaning the data, transforming the data, reshaping the data and analyzing the data to visualize the data, and lastly to derive the insights from the data set. And then we have understood about the RDBMS, that is relational database management system, and about we have understood that is UML, that is unified model language, which is a graphical way of representing your system to the targeted audience. So, with this we come to the end of this session. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching.